Hmm. Yo, Red Panda, what's up, dude?
The most rigorous trials ever run on a vitamin was stopped early because the people getting the vitamin were dying faster than the people getting nothing. It was vitamin C at high dose directly into the vein in patients with severe burns. Now, the idea sounded right. Burns flood the body with damage, and vitamin C can mop up that damage, so give plenty of it. But it proved the opposite. The deaths roughly doubled, and the safety board of the trial had to stop it. This is why it matters even if you've never touched an IV infusion, because it's the same trap of assuming more of a good antioxidant is automatically better, because this has backfired over and over again with pills on the shelf. Here's why the burn trial sounded so right when they first came up with the concept. A severe burn sets off a storm of what scientists call oxidative stress. Think of it as cellular rust, free radicals just tearing at tissue. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, so it neutralizes that kind of damage. So the logic seems simple. More rust, so add more rust remover. The doses tell you how far past normal that they went. 50 milligrams per kilogram every 6 hours for 4 days. For a typical adult, that works out to be roughly 14 to 16 grams of vitamin C a day, delivered straight into the bloodstream.
That is a lot of fucking vitamin C. That is an absurd amount.
So compare that with the 75 to 90 milligrams most adults need in an entire day. So this was not a nutritional supplementation, it was a pharmacologic flood, and that flood backfired. The main result, deaths or lasting organ failure, went the wrong way. Now, I do want to be careful with that death number because the trial was stopped early with relatively few deaths, so the exact size is uncertain. But every way that they looked at the data, it pointed in the same way, roughly a doubling, and that's why the oversight board pulled the plug. And this trial is not a one-off. The exact same dose of intravenous vitamin C had been tested 4 years earlier in a completely different group of critically ill patients, so people with sepsis, and it did the same thing, a higher rate of death or organ failure, 44.5% compared to 38.5%. So 2 trials, the same vitamin C flood, 2 different sets of very sick people, but the wrong direction. So how does an antioxidant end up doing harm? And remember, the mechanism.
Thoughts on Obsession movie? I thought it was phenomenal.
I haven't seen it, and I have no idea what it's about. I haven't even seen a trailer for it. Thanks for the donation. Human supremacy can suck my ass.
Mechanism here is important for what you decide to do for your own supplement routine. The researchers point to 2 things. First, your kidneys turn excess vitamin C into oxalate, and a flood of it can crystallize and damage the kidneys. Exactly the wrong thing in someone already fighting for their organs. And the second reason sounds a bit like a paradox. So vitamin C is normally a free radical mop, but a badly burned body is flooded with loose iron from damaged tissue. And when you add a massive dose of vitamin C to that iron, the chemistry can run backwards. So instead of soaking up free radicals, the vitamin starts making them, producing hydrogen peroxide that harms the very cells that it was supposed to protect. So the antioxidant becomes a pro-oxidant. It's actually the same reaction that scientists have tried to use to kill cancer cells in previous experiments. And the authors are careful to call this a likely explanation, but not a proven one. And it's not just in the ICU setting, where the more is better approach has backfired. So in the supplement space, more is better has backfired for decades. So the pattern is almost the same. An antioxidant looks great on paper, so people take a massive dose of it. And the careful trial finds the opposite. So start with beta-carotene, for instance, which is a building block your body turns into vitamin A. So on paper, it's a beautiful cancer fighter. So researchers gave it to more than 18,000 people at high risk of lung cancer. So these people were smokers, former smokers, or asbestos workers. The beta-carotene group got, and get this, 28% higher rates of lung cancer. That trial was stopped early too, and it wasn't the only one. A separate large trial in male smokers found the same kind of signal, about 18% more lung cancer in the beta-carotene group. Then vitamin A on its own, a huge review pulling together 67 trials and more than 230,000 people found that in the most careful studies, antioxidant supplements as a group, they slightly raised the risk of dying, and vitamin A was one of the worst, raising it by 16%. Now for vitamin E, and this one should stop people in their tracks because it wasn't sick patients and it wasn't smokers. It was one of the largest prevention trials ever run, about 35,000 healthy men given a common mega dose of vitamin E, so about 400 international units. Now to put that into perspective, the recommended daily allowance is about 22 units. So the men in the vitamin E group, they ended up with significantly more prostate cancer. In 2022, an independent government panel called the US Preventative Services Task Force, they looked at all of this data and they put it plainly. For beta-carotene, the harms outweigh the benefits. For vitamin E, there is no net benefit. And right about now, a lot of people are going to raise a common objection. So let me address it head on. The argument goes like this. Those vitamin E trials, they all used a synthetic form called alpha-tocopherol. The full spectrum form, so tocotrienols, they are supposed to be safer. The problem is that at the moment, we just aren't sure. Researchers have gathered every randomized tocotrienol trial in humans, so about 30 of them, involving 2,600 people. And in every single one, they measured short-term blood markers. Not one of them tracked whether people lived longer or got less cancer or had fewer heart attacks. Most only ran for a few weeks to a few months. So the harm seen from the high-dose alpha-tocopherol is real and it's measured, and the idea that a different form must therefore be safe is just an assumption with no long-term trial data behind it. And that is exactly the sounds good on paper reasoning that keeps getting people into trouble. So it's plausible, yes, but it's not proven, not even close. So used in the wrong way, so the wrong form, wrong population, wrong assumptions about the form, these things can backfire. But if used in the right way, antioxidants can genuinely be helpful. And the clearest proof of that starts with the exact question that we've raised. Does the form matter? Yes, it does. And the best example in all of medicine starts with the same villain from a minute ago, beta-carotene. There's a common eye disease called age-related macular degeneration. So it slowly destroys the center of your vision, and for a long time, the only thing that seemed to genuinely slow it down was a specific supplement formula involving vitamins C and E, and then also involving zinc and beta-carotene. And it did work. It cut the risk of the disease getting worse by about a quarter. But there was a problem sitting inside that formula, the beta-carotene, that same building block that in those big trials raised lung cancer in people who'd smoked. So you'd have this strange situation where the treatment saved people's vision, but it contained an ingredient that for the wrong population raised cancer risks. So researchers started to look for an alternative. So lutein and zeaxanthin are pigments that give corn and egg yolks their yellow color, and the body deliberately stockpiles them in one tiny spot at the very center of the retina, the part that does your sharpest vision. They sit there as a built-in filter, soaking up most of the damaging light before it hits the cells behind them. So supplementing with these supplies the eye with what it already uses, instead of trying to feed it a foreign antioxidant. So the researchers built a second trial called AREDS2, and they asked a direct question. Take beta-carotene out and swap it in for lutein and zeaxanthin and see what happens. This is this whole video in one experiment. It's the real version of the tocotrienol question. Not we assume that a different form is safer, but we actually test it head-to-head with hard outcomes. And here's what they found. First on safety.
Human supremacy can suck my ass better than Hereditary, trust me.
She does. One wish will.
Branch of a
Jeez.
Yeah, it's probably not better than Hereditary. Looks kind of like whatever. I'll probably watch it, but thanks for the donation, dude.
Lung cancer was about 2% in the people getting the formula with beta-carotene, compared to 0.9% in the people getting it without. But if you take the beta-carotene out, that signal goes away. And the second question is whether this new formula still worked. So in the direct comparison, the lutein and zeaxanthin formula came out at least as good as the old beta-carotene one in terms of slowing the disease down. Slightly better, in fact. So safer and at least as effective. So the whole field switched. Beta-carotene was dropped in favor for lutein and zeaxanthin. And speaking of changes, there's been another one related to antioxidants and exercise, and that's just come in the past year due to new evidence. So if you're young and healthy and you train, taking a big dose of antioxidant vitamins around your workout is a mistake. Regular viewers have heard me cover this in detail. So the short version is that exercise, it produces brief bursts of free radicals, and that burst is a signal that your body needs to adapt. And if you interfere with that signal by giving high-dose vitamins C and E, you blunt the cellular machinery that exercise is trying to build. And it's not just antioxidant supplements that can get in the way of exercise benefits. So metformin, for instance, in people without diabetes can blunt some of the positive effects of exercise. So in a resistance training study, the people on the placebo built more muscle compared to the people on metformin, and resveratrol does the same thing. If you exercise, adding any of these is likely the more isn't better mistake, and for years,
If you stream the movie, it won't be the same as seeing it in theaters. It's a legitimate difference. You mean I won't be distracted by people texting on their phones and kids crying in the movie theater? Okay, I'll stream it.
that made antioxidants look like a blanket bad idea for anyone exercising. But here is where it changed. In older adults, the picture flips. So as we age, the balance tips the other way, where the system tips too much towards oxidative stress rather than too little. And in that group, antioxidant supplements paired with exercise actually beat exercise alone. Now, I do want to be clear here. This is not that older adults should megadose with antioxidants. Instead, it's a clean illustration of this thesis, that the same intervention can have opposite answers depending.
Yes, Connor really died. No, I don't think Connor Murphy killed Leo. No, Connor wasn't still fucking vegan. And yeah, 0.73 to 0.82 grams protein per pound is good for muscle.
On who you are. If you're young and exercising, then taking doses of antioxidants above the recommended daily intake is probably not a good idea. But if you're slightly older, that balance has already tipped, and a little bit of antioxidant support can probably help. And just for clarity, this flip is only true for antioxidants, so metformin and resveratrol, they still blunt the positive effects of exercise. And to get the antioxidant balance right, there's a really interesting avenue that's worth exploring, and viewers of this channel would have heard me talking about Glynax supplements before. So rather than flooding the body with a finished antioxidant, you give it the raw materials instead to make its own, and then let it self-regulate how much it needs. So in older adults, that improved a range of aging markers in a recent clinical trial. And one last thing, and this is a frontier where the evidence is a bit thinner, but genuinely quite interesting. So those same eye antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin, they don't just collect in the eyes, they also build up in the brain. And in a 2026 trial in teenagers who used a lot of screens, attention and processing speed improved as well. And to summarize this video, the lesson is simple. It isn't that antioxidants are bad. Rather, we have to get the right form at the right dose for the right person, and that beats mega dosing every single time. And this is not just a small point, it's the whole reason why a carefully worked out formula.
I'm not in a bad mood. I'm just really fucking tired. I had a long, hard training session, and I'm barely eating anything, and you people asked me stupid questions, so I'm not thrilled about that, but my mood's fine. I'm just fucking tired.
Matters more than the instinct just to throw more at the problem. More is better is the thing that keeps backfiring. And here's the practical takeaway. Don't mega.
Alright, that's all interesting. Let's watch some Connor Murphy shit.
Connor Murphy, just 32 years old and a pioneer in the fitness industry. He was going viral back in the days before going viral was even a thing. He was pronounced dead this morning at just 32 years old in the waters outside of a town in Bangkok, Thailand. And Connor was a friend of mine, so I have my feelings and my thoughts, but I first want to share to you what happened to Connor and what caused his death. There was witnesses who saw Connor on the side of the road acting about, and he was praying on the side of the road, acting, how Connor sometimes acts. Well, they panicked. They called the police, and the Bangkok police, they came to the scene. And once Connor saw them, he panicked, and he went and jumped in the lake by his home. And he was trying, I guess, to swim away from the police so far out into that waters, and I know those waters are very deep, until he was exhausted, and he ended up dying, and that's what.
That is very dumb. Very, very dumb. I'm gonna assume he probably had drugs on him and he didn't want to go to a Thai prison.
Where his body was found.
Or he just took drugs and then he thought they would arrest him for being on drugs or some shit. Yeah, he's stupid. You can be crazy and smart. He's crazy and stupid.
The police later entered his home and they saw the house was very messy. There was strange paint.
Tony Huge said he was injecting gold. That used to be a thing for arthritis, where they'd have a gold solution that you'd inject into the joints around your fingers. They stopped doing that because there was better arthritis medication made, but that used to be a thing where they would make some sort of weird gold solution, but yeah, that's really weird.
First one not toes 6 minutes -7.
Watch people die. There's no video on this. It's just a thing. It's a terms of service post.
What is the nature of your thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, you just linked me to oh wait. Okay. What do you want? 6 to 7 minutes. This is very clearly going to be a terms of service issue. Is this the Christchurch shooting? Yeah, that's the Christchurch shooting. Yeah, that's why you want to be able to carry a gun with you. Yeah, you're fucking dumb. Yeah.
Gentlemen, when you say you move your lips in a particular way.
Official languages, the document that was referred to.
I'm going to come down on them like an 800-pound gorilla.
Practice on me. Not bad. A little cold.
Like a fart in the room.
And I think she may want to withdraw it. The word was F-A-R-T.
I would love it.
Omar Khadri, you got more class than the whole cabinet. Thank you.
Everyone's got peer pressure at this age. I mean, there's pressure to smoke, there's pressure to do all sorts of stuff. And,
Yes, we know each other, not in the biblical.
Yeah, that's not particularly interesting.
I bloody love bread pudding with caramel and
I just don't care.
They are coming. Gumblebee got all the bugs in the bug jar to tell them that she should be in charge. Because Gumbus is not a bug.
It's a good Gumbush.
But little does she know. Gumbus is a bug. She's a gumbug. And she knows that because she has wings. So the bug jar belongs to her. Very cool. They are...
It's a good Gumbus. Thanks for the donation, dude. JP Donateller is going to send a ton of new Frank stuff. Frank lawsuit update with Taban.
some really fishy stuff going on in the Taban lawsuit. First, Taban's lawyer tried to get me labeled a vexatious litigant. The judge denied the motion, probably to get me to believe that there's some truth to this case and they're on my side. I don't know why they did that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But me and Taban's lawyer said, let's continue the trial till next year, which means, let's agree and tell the court that we would like the trial to be next year because we're both not ready. So they filed that motion a few weeks ago. It was denied. And for some reason, Taban's lawyer is ready for that original trial date, which is in 2 weeks. So I think what they did was they tried to trick me into thinking that we're going to continue the trial till next year and then just go along with it, because they had the trial documents ready today. Taban's lawyer is somehow ready for trial in 2 weeks when we both promised each other that we would agree to continue it until next year. The crazy part is the court didn't even give me my subpoenas. I don't even have the evidence to review.
You're not just granted subpoenas.
I am months and months away. I don't even have the documents. I don't have anything to present at trial. I've been sending in subpoenas for the court to approve since April, and they haven't approved any of them.
Yes, that's probably because you're an idiot and you did it wrong, and what you're asking to subpoena isn't even relevant to the case.
It's crazy. What do you? If they approve this trial date, I'm going to show up there in my underwear without a.
If you ask to subpoena somebody's penis photos, and you're going to court over botched plastic surgery, they're not gonna grant you a subpoena to have access to somebody's nude photos. It's just not relevant. I don't think he understands that.
Shirt on. I swear to God. I will show up there in an underwear and a t-shirt and call it a joke.
I'm going to guess he asked for subpoenas of his private conversations with other clients, which has no relevance to do with his case. And that's why it got denied. And he just is too stupid to understand that, or he's lying. He's doing this pro se. He doesn't have a lawyer, so.
What do you want? I should show up in my birthday suit, show up naked. Real good analogy to how the court is screwing me over and treating a pro se litigant. Even if I had the money to go over there, I'm not healthy enough. I can't even stare at a computer screen for 2 hours, let alone attend a trial. So we're gonna file some motions.
Well, that's bullshit. We've seen his live streams.
And see what the court says. I do find that's the most likely thing in my head, that they wanted to trick me into believing that the trial is going to be next year and then shove it through. Well, if both the plaintiff and defendant are in agreement to continue the trial, there's no reason for the judge not to. There's no reason for them to say, okay, let's move it to next year. But, if they deny it, there's no legitimate reason to deny it. I am not medically, physically, or legally able to even be ready for the trial.
He's not legally able to be ready for the trial. I don't know what the fuck that means.
It doesn't make any sense. They're obviously biased, and if they're just gonna screw me over, why not just wipe your ass with my lawsuit and just throw it out? Why waste my
That's exactly what they should have done.
time, and why jerk me around? I have no faith in the court system already. There's no legitimacy to it whatsoever.
Tefano versus Taban case update. What happened on July 2nd? Deadline for the joint trial. July 2nd, final deadline to file important trial paperwork. Jury instructions, verdict form before the pretrial hearing on July 6th. Court had already said no to delaying the case, so the deadline still had to be met. On that day, Taban's lawyers spent most of the time trying to get the documents finished with Frank, They sent drafts, asked for his feedback, and repeatedly asked him to call so they could sort out disagreements. The goal was to file something both sides agreed on. Frank mainly responded with short messages saying he did not agree with the filings or the trial date, and there doesn't appear to have been any proper phone discussion or detailed back and forth. By the end of the day, the lawyers said they would file the paperwork themselves and tell the court that Frank did not cooperate. Yeah, that sounds about right. So Frank's just lying and being a retard.
Creeper, ay. Somebody come get her. She dancing like a creeper. Ay.
This is a guy who is trying to convince people he's not gay, and then he uploads shit like this. Imagine trying to convince people you're straight, and then you upload videos like this. Like, he's literally bad at everything. Imagine if, like, this is like the equivalent of being a Jew in Nazi Germany and trying to hide that you're a Jew, but then you, like, have the full Jewish getup when you go outside. The hat, the weird fucking hair, the beard. Members of the public can't attend the Tefano versus Taban trial. Oh man, that'd be fucking hilarious. That would be hilarious. Thanks for the donation, JP. JP donated $2. Frank Tefano denies abusing his goats. Yeah. We've already seen a few that are clearly underweight.
You guys complaining I don't treat my goats right? I just pulled in the driveway, and this is what I get. They're addicted fatties. Have you ever seen a goat that big? Have you ever seen a goat that big in your life?
They're literally starving. This goat, you can see its ribs, which you shouldn't be able to see. You can see its, like, back and hip bones and shit. Again, you shouldn't be able to see that. This goat is literally starving.
She looks pregnant, but she's not. Not pregnant at all. The fattest goats, I would bet these are the fattest goats. Look at that one. She's huge. These are...
This guy is just so unbelievably fucking retarded, it blows my fucking mind. Like, again, if somebody wasn't retarded, they'd make sure the starving goats aren't in the camera, and then, like, just try to select the goats that look the fattest, and it's like, oh, you're saying I'm starving my goats and abusing them? Well, look how fat they are. They're getting plenty of food. Literally a fucking video where he says these goats are fat and getting plenty of food shows, like, a fucking starving goat.
They're the fattest goats in the state of Pennsylvania. Not pregnant. I bet he is, like, how many months old? And he's huge. He's as big as the girls. For anyone saying I don't care about my goats really gets me upset, because I probably spend 3 times as much in feed than anyone else, because my goats are huge and healthy.
We've literally seen him feed them just junk food. Like donuts that he made that he couldn't sell because he didn't make them right.
You know, I could feed them once every 3 days like every other farmer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't do that, stupid.
But I don't want them bothering me like this every day.
Yeah. He's probably not gonna do the right thing and just keep on living. If only Luigi Mangione was in Pennsylvania and had a problem with Frank. Frank's motion to appear remotely. Frank Tefano is physically disabled on Social Security for visual impairment. How in the mother of a fuck could this... He's lying. So, for one thing, this guy has a driver's license, And we've seen him driving a car and a truck. Like, that is the most ridiculous horseshit. He has videos of him driving between Pennsylvania and New York City. And then he's saying he's visually impaired and on Social Security. How the fuck would he even get Social Security when he like brings in so much fucking revenue? Like, what the fuck? These physical debilitations cause additional care while traveling that Frank Tufano is unable to afford, such as medical oxygen and quiet locations. What? I can't see. I need oxygen and quiet. Turn the music down. I can't taste my pizza. Additionally, Frank Tufano spent all of his savings on revision procedures and cannot afford the flight and accommodations, which, due to his health issues, are substantially more expensive as first class and in a quieter area. So he needs to fly in first class because he's visually impaired, yet he can drive for 3 hours straight. Frank Tufano hopes he can save up enough money to attend the trial in person, but for the time being and all non-trial hearings requests the court allow him to attend the hearings remotely. Yeah. They must, like, everyone must know this guy is just a fucking retard and a liar. Thanks for the donation, JP.
Paintings all over the walls, and we've seen this behavior, you know, with Connor before. And his girlfriend who was at the scene, she said that he was up all night. He was going crazy. He didn't sleep all night. And the next day, I guess, is where he was found on the street.
Well, there's a pipe, and there is a jar of something. There's also a medicine bottle there. I don't know if any of that has anything to do with it. There's a possibility he wasn't even doing any drugs. He might just go through crazy manic episodes, just from the psychedelic-induced psychosis.
Streets where people ended up calling the police on him. An American man went on a violent rampage, painting the entire interior of a luxury rental home valued at 22 million baht, causing extensive damage before running into the village lake where he drowned. His girlfriend stated she did not know the cause, while the homeowner was shocked and never expected to encounter such a scene. At 3 p.m. on July 7th, Police Lieutenant, Deputy Investigation Officer, received a report of a foreign man acting erratically and jumping into the lake of a luxury village in Bang Philly district. He, along with emergency doctors, rushed to the scene. The scene was a luxury house situated next to a large pond. Divers were searching for the missing person before finding the body of Connor Michael Murphy, 32, an American, about 20 meters from the shore. They recovered the body for examination on land. No wounds or signs of assault were found. The police sent the body for further autopsy. Reviewing video footage, a village staff member showed the foreign man suddenly exhibiting erratic behavior without known cause. He ran and swam in the village lake until he became exhausted and submerged before witnesses' eyes. No one dared to enter the water due to its depth of over 10 meters, so they immediately called authorities. Divers searched for about 30 minutes before locating and retrieving the body ashore. Security personnel at the village reported that the man went out and returned by a hired vehicle, which stopped at the security checkpoint. He offered the driver 1,000 baht, but the driver refused due to the man's abnormal behavior. Then the man approached a resident's car passing by, knocked on the window to get a ride inside, while security shouted, "Don't pick him up." The man then became agitated, shouting loudly and rolling on the road, making gestures as if praying to God. When police patrol arrived,
Yeah, he was cracked.
He fled into the village and jumped into the lake to swim. Police called for backup and rescue teams as they could not control him. Eventually, he exhausted himself and drowned. Miss B, 22, the deceased's girlfriend, said they had been together for about 3 years but had lived apart due to incompatible lifestyles. They had reunited less than 3 months ago. Before the incident, their life was normal with no problems or signs of illness. She did not know why he suddenly became erratic that day and never saw him use drugs during their time together. The vandalism with paint happened during the previous night while she was asleep. He refused to sleep. The homeowner shared her shock upon seeing the house, which had been completely defaced with paint, including electrical appliances. She said she loved and cherished the house, a beautiful property by the lake. She had carefully chosen the tenant and never expected to find the house in such damaged state, with furniture and decorations all destroyed. Initially, investigators and rescue personnel conducted an autopsy, finding bruises likely caused by rolling on the road. The rescue team will send the body for further examination to determine the exact cause of death, including drug testing. Evidence is being collected and the American Embassy in Thailand has been notified to provide information about the incident. So Connor was a friend of mine, and I'm finding it hard to come up with the right words and the right things I want to say. But we haven't spoken that much in recent years just because he's changed so much, you know. And last I spoke to him, as you guys all know, you guys see his behavior online. It's not how Connor used to be. It's not the Connor that I once knew. And obviously we know he's been experimenting with so many different types of drugs and experiments on himself. And I believe that it took over his mind and changed him from the person we all once knew. And it's sad because 32 years old, that's a kid. He had so much more life to live, so much more to give to people.
Well, it's looking like I will be the last fitness YouTuber standing. Everyone bites the dust, but vegan gains persists. Bruh. Yeah, 32. So, yeah, that'd be like me dying 3 years ago. I wonder if he was even on something. Because he would go through phases where he'd upload, like, he did still seem weird, but he'd upload fairly normal-ish videos. Like, some of it's, like, silly stuff, like having sex with ladyboys, hair loss treatment, you know, stuff like that. Some stuff about, like, peds he was taking. But then he'd do, like, weird psychedelic unhinged shit. I think he might have given himself like a form of bipolar disorder or something, because he clearly went through manic episodes after the ayahuasca shit he was doing. So I think it gave him something like that. He might not have been on anything, possibly. Yeah, I know he was taking enclomiphene. I know stuff like enclomiphene and HCG, they can trigger really severe anxiety in people. And some people do get depression from it as well. So I don't know if that could have possibly played a contributing role. Or if he just, I don't know, for whatever reason, went back on psychedelics, had another, like, fucked up, weird shit happen. But he did something similar to this, like, a couple years ago, right? Like, he just started screaming and yelling. He smashed up his apartment. And somehow he had that huge scar on his stomach, and he'd never explain why or how that happened. So, yeah, he was taking semen. Yeah, like, Yeah, he was just cracked. Cray.
People in life. But he let, his demons take over him, experimenting with drugs that changed him from the person we all once knew. And think about it. His parents have to bury him. You never want to see parents bury their son. And it didn't have to be this way. The fitness industry.
I didn't notice any change in rate of muscle gain when using 1 gram per pound versus about 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of protein. Should I even bother going above 0.75 grams of protein? Well, protein isn't a steroid, so that's not surprising. If you're natural, you're not going to see a substantive difference. There's only so much extra food is going to do for you, like protein included. So there's probably a benefit to increasing protein intake if you're on steroids, just because your rate of muscle protein synthesis is super accelerated. But if you're natural, yeah, you're probably not really going to get much from adding protein above 0.75 grams per pound of body weight. The only time I could figure where that might be beneficial is if you have absorption issues. So if your digestion isn't great, you might need more. But yeah, your rate of growth is going to be so slow as a natural. You're very likely not going to notice any difference. How am I? Oh, I'm fine. Fine like wine. Forgot my namification, donated $2. Yeah, I'll just be you, Blaha, and the Trend twins unironically. Everyone else fell off or died, lol. Well, Blaha's down bad. He's clearly not in the best of health. He'll probably, croak one of these days. Or do something stupid and get into a shootout with somebody. That guy loves to be a complete fucking moron. He's done live streams where he pulls his gun out in public. He's done a lot of really dumb shit with guns. He was pretending to be a troll hunter where he would film videos with his ex-girlfriend, where he'd say, "Oh, I came to have a shootout with some guy, but he wouldn't show up because I'm such a badass. I scared him." And he showed up with a gun, I think even open carrying. He held a guy at gunpoint for literally no real reason. Somebody was trolling him and put out a Craigslist ad for a transsexual prostitute, and some black dude just knocked on his door, and then he opens the door, holds the guy at gunpoint with an AR-15, and he stole his ID. And Blaha would have gotten arrested and charged, but the guy was married and didn't want his wife finding out that he was trying to hook up with a transsexual prostitute. So Blaha really fucking got lucky on that one. And yeah, he was live streaming and he was in a public area and he just pulls out his fucking gun, showing off his Glock on the live stream. You can't do that. You can't just pull out your gun in public. So if I had to guess, Blaha's probably going to do something fucking stupid that ends up getting him into a dangerous situation where he's going to get beaten up or shot or something. Or, his teeth are just absolutely fucking annihilated. He's not in good health. Half his teeth are falling out and rotted, so it wouldn't surprise me if he just, has sudden cardiac arrest or some shit. Trend twins, they'll probably be fine. They'll probably, just be the Trend twins. But yeah, Blaha, I could see him croaking sometime soon. Thanks for the donation, though. Forgot my namification. I'm going to contaminate the Canadian water supply with Alpha Gal to make everyone vegan overnight. Can you eat Alpha Gal and get that thing that makes you allergic to meat? Or does it have to be transmitted like by a tick where it's like blood transmission or something? I don't know if that would work.
Promotes so much drug use. Even more now than it ever did before. They have a drug for literally every function of the body, and they promote this to people. And haven't we seen enough people in this industry die? My friends die. I'm tired of making these videos saying one of my friends died. And they were all similar situations. Again, this is a lesson for all of us, and, you know, a hard lesson. 32 years old, Connor Murphy is dead. And I wish, you know, his friend.
I don't think there's any lesson from this. Like, the guy broke his brain on ayahuasca. It's kind of it's a pretty obscure drug. Even in the, like, psychedelic community, not many people take it. It's usually, like, magic mushrooms. Some people can get a hold of LSD. There's a lot of LSD analogs that are pretty dangerous. MDMA, DMT, but yeah, like actual ayahuasca is not terribly common. So that Liver King idiot did a similar thing. He also went crazy like Connor from taking ayahuasca. He did an ayahuasca trip and he broke his brain. So if there's any lesson to be learned from this, don't do ayahuasca. Just stick to the basics. Like weed, magic mushrooms, cocaine, maybe a little bit of meth, heroin, crack. But yeah, stay away from ayahuasca. It turns people kind of crazy.
Friends, his family. I wish them the best because I know this can't be easy. So I'm sorry because this video is hard for me to make. But I want to, you know, wish Connor a better life, you know, wherever he is, and wish the best to his family, to his loved ones, to his friends. And Connor, 32 years old, rest in peace, my brother.
Coach.
Well, yeah.
That I should make a video right now before a bunch of rumors and people think it's a stunt or something like that, because especially of who Connor Murphy and his character is, that he is a prankster, that he comes off as seeming crazy in his videos, and that if it came off as seeing a stunt, then like it would be something negative. I don't know. I'm
Yeah, he got a hair transplant, right? That looks like a hair transplant. He definitely dyes his hair. His hair looks way too dark. I think he was going gray and he started dyeing it.
honestly, my brain's not working very well right now, so I just jumped on camera at the advice of a consensus of people that I asked how I should handle this. And then it's been a really long day, and I'm still processing this because it doesn't seem real, because I honestly, I thought, like, you know, Connor is such a interesting guy and very unique and such a prankster that a lot of times with Connor, you don't know whether something's...
Gold is inert metal, will do nothing if you inject yourself with gold. That's not true. It does actually have anti-inflammatory properties. Silver also does shit. It does have antibacterial properties, and they used to also use colloidal silver for treatment of arthritis. It used to be a fairly common treatment to inject gold into your fingers around the joint to treat arthritis, and it was effective. It's just that they stopped doing it once like good arthritis medication became available, but it is a thing. There's a really interesting case report where an elderly woman had gold slivers injected or like shoved into her fingers to treat arthritis. She was really old, but she had a ton of those things, like those gold strips in her fingers.
Since you are streaming today, VG, let's react to this video. I wanted you to react to yesterday had you not passed out.
I'll take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, so this was an x-ray of a woman with really severe arthritis. She was getting gold slivers shoved into her fingers and her wrists. It's a really, really old school type of treatment. Oh, X-ray was taken in 2014 when the 58-year-old. Whoa, 58. Holy shit. What the fuck was she doing? That is crazy horrific arthritis for 58. Pain began when she was 18, and when she was 48, she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, so she must have had this for a long-ass fucking time. It's like an autoimmune disease. Began taking painkillers, but had also opted for gold thread acupuncture. Sterile pieces of gold inserted into the body when the acupuncture needle pierces the skin. Practice has been used in many East Asian areas to treat pain, but there's no scientific evidence to suggest it works. I'm pretty sure this was an old-style American thing, too. It's not just, like, Chinese kind of medicine thing. I think in the United States, colloidal silver was a more common thing. But I heard about people doing this, like, back in Old West times, where they'd make some kind of gold solution and inject it around joints. And a lot of people reported that it did help. But colloidal silver was a more common thing. They,
And this too.
Okay, I'll take a look at that in a second. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Yeah, they still to this day sell colloidal silver supplements. Again, it probably doesn't work as well as modern medication. The guy who turned blue, you can get like kits to create colloidal silver. Oh man, Blue Man Group. Yeah, this is the guy. Yeah, this is the guy who turned himself blue with the colloidal silver thing. He bought a, he has joint pain. He bought a kit to make his own colloidal silver, but it didn't work properly, and it was making, like, ionized silver. And what happens is, it goes into your skin. It also surrounds your organs, joints, like, it goes everywhere. And when it gets exposed to sunlight, it turns blue. So he had so much silver built up in his skin that his skin turned blue. He actually said it helped his arthritis. Like his joint pain almost went away completely, but yeah, he turned blue. Let me take a look, Dodo.
So what you're looking at there,
oh yes,
is maybe the largest memorial service in the history of humanity. That is for the Grand Ayatollah in Iran.
No, I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee's funeral was bigger. Michael Jackson's funeral was bigger.
There are reports that 12 million people showed up, and Trump expects...
That is not 12 million people.
Thought on peptides, such as Rita, Would you take any?
I'm on Reddit TrueTide right now. They work. They're safe and effective. I don't know what else you want me to tell you. People who take Retta lose weight and they also live longer. It also reduces risk of all cancers combined. So yeah, if you're having trouble losing weight, take Retta. Thanks for the donation, George.
Expressed shock. He didn't know that if he bombed their country, that they might rally around the flag.
They're not.
So more on the developments of this story, both the substance of what's happening in Iran, but
This is like the most retarded, dumbass fuckwit. The majority of Iran does not support the Ayatollah. Like, it's funny how he says this, but then he ignores the massive protests that occurred that got quelled by the Iranian regime, mass murdering their own civilians. About 45,000 people died over a course of a fucking weekend. But then, oh, look, everyone loves the Ayatollah. Like, dude, the Young Turks are just the most cancerous fucking scum. Like, unbelievably fucking, like, this is an American news organization, like independent, but still an American independent news organization, literally spreading anti-American propaganda put out by adversarial regimes. And let me see this.
So huge news out of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran hit 3 ships coming through. America has retaliated a significant number of strikes that just happened. So Anna's got more details.
Yes, in fact, news broke right before we went on air, indicating that the US is now carrying out some pretty heavy strikes against Iran in retaliation for Iran's strikes, alleged strikes on 3 different vessels that were traveling through the Strait of Hormuz, albeit through a path that was not, you know, greenlit by the Iranians, who, whether you like it or not, have control of the Strait of Hormuz.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure that's considered international waters. So they don't. That is, again, they don't control that waterway. They don't own it. They can't force people to pay a tax or anything. It's not like the Panama Canal. Like, what the fuck? Like, where the fuck are they getting this? They control the Strait of Hormuz. In what sense do they control the Strait of Hormuz?
Those are the spoils of war, the spoils of the war that we Americans and the Israelis lost. I know it's a hard thing to accept.
How did the US and Israel lose?
But that's just the fact of the matter, and there's no military option to change that. So the bombing that's taking place right now is useless. But let me give you the details.
This is just fucking baffling. Right. Do people just watch them ironically? Epstein files, Saudi Qatar ships didn't have permission, impeach, convict, Trump is the world's largest dumbass. Okay, so that's the trick. You have to appeal to complete retards to make money. I see. Well, thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Is real or not? So even my brain is like, oh, this is all a trick, this can't be real. And then I got home and oh my gosh, one of my girlfriends is harassing me about the fact that I posted a picture of another girl on my Instagram and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just like blindsided with that when I don't have the mental capacity for it. And then Nocturnal Kent, one of the other maxers of the looks and friends of the group of Androgenic and Connor Murphy, he had a aneurysm a few days ago. And there was a whole bunch of reaction videos that he had died because of the aneurysm, but actually he didn't die, and he posted a video saying that he only told a couple close people and then it leaked out, and then he just watched how this thing snowballed.
So the guy didn't die.
Into this big conspiracy theory about dying from an aneurysm, and he's actually alive. And then he wasn't trying to do it for views or anything like this. And so in this world of influencing, a lot of people do a lot of stuff to get a lot of attention, a lot of really crazy stuff, including even faking death. And I wanted to, well, the consensus is that I should cut through all of that and just explain exactly, concisely, the status with Connor Murphy, so that it doesn't spiral into some kind of big prank conspiracy theory type thing. And actually the Nocturnal Kent thing threw me off, and I even though I don't know Nocturnal Kent, I was actually affected by it because he's part of the same group. And then like he's dead, and then I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm actually worried about all these influencers, and I'm worried about the branding and the influencing it has on the public when one of these guys passes away.
Hopefully both Anna and Cenk will be dead soon as well.
Yeah, why doesn't Mossad take them out? Trump should sick Mossad on their ass. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And then the public blames it on their, maxing of the looks and all these things that are doing, which really is not, and in Nocturnal Kent's case, it ended up not being dangerous. He didn't die. And of course, the mainstream media will want to take anything that anybody does outside the mainstream and blame it on something outside the mainstream. Well, in Connor's case, it's a little bit of something outside the matrix that I think is the precipitating event here. But I'll just give you the straight facts first of all. Connor Murphy was living on a golf course in Bangkok, and it's very beautiful, and he has a nice house there, and it's literally on the water. Like his back balcony is water. You can see from his Instagram and the things he posts. So in the end, he drowned in his backyard lake. And there's a lot more things that led up to that, but that is how he ended up passing away, drowning. Up until his passing, he was discovering that he had achieved some superhuman abilities. And it's no joke. He actually did achieve some superhuman abilities. And a lot of his friends and I were supportive, of course, like a friend that has big dreams, and of him achieving these abilities. But there was one dangerous experiment. I call it levels of biohacking. So level 1 biohacking is get sunlight, circadian rhythm, exercise, diet, nutrition, all the basic stuff you're allowed to talk about. And then as you go up through the levels of biohacking, it becomes more powerful and also more risky. Connor and I started doing a video on one of his channels talking about this and how he was getting closer to meeting God and developing superhuman powers. And I'm skeptical, right? It's like a father and son, or like a friend that's giving another friend feedback on their plans. When one friend says they want to be a famous actor or something, and then the parents might say, oh, you can't be an actor, you need to be an accountant. You need to go to college for this, and you need to be part of the system. And the young boy has big dreams of doing something outside of the system. Well, Connor, of course, his head has been outside the
I don't think Connor died. Well, that's nice. I don't really care what you think.
System since he was 18, because he became an influencer when he was 18. And his two goals were to be a influencer that had a huge impact on people, to raise their level of consciousness, help them make healthier choices, and also to become a professional golfer, but not just any professional golfer, a professional golfer that seriously changed the game. And he did develop a golf swing and superhuman golf abilities. He did test his skills against professional golfers and found he is at professional golfing level, and that he could potentially win large golf competitions. And he developed those skills through developing his superpowers. Most of his biohacking was for the intention of developing those various different superhuman abilities, including especially golf, his real passion and obsession. So he figured that and he did his research, and he had the hypothesis that gold, if you can get it into every cell in your body, would have some special power of like conductivity of the electro pulses that go through the body, and also connect you to the metaphysical world. So Connor went to the gold shop and he bought gold bars, and he bought gold necklaces, and he bought gold bracelets, bought a lot of different gold things, and he put it in water with 2 electrodes going through it in some intricate system with the amount of electricity and the frequency, and everything was very calculated. He had a whole protocol. I don't know the very detailed specifics of the protocol because I was not interested in injecting gold in myself, but I was interested to see, like, if it works for him, maybe someday I would consider it, but okay, that's an experiment. That's a level.
That's just straight up stupid. Why would you even entertain the idea?
Maybe I'm just a level 9 biohacker and Connor was a level 10 biohacker, but that was just beyond the scope of what I was.
Are you excited for Conor McGregor's return? Do you think he will win?
I don't know if he'll win. He's had issues with drug addiction for a while, so he's probably not going to be the same getting back in the ring. I'm not entirely sure what his motivation is for doing it. It could just be like he needs something to focus on that's kind of healthy to get him off drugs. He might be in a Floyd Mayweather situation. I have no idea, but yeah, like being a drug addict and doing meth, it changes you. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is not anywhere near as good as he once was. Thanks for that donation though, George.
Was willing to experiment with. A lot of Connor's friends and I were really nervous about injecting gold. I mean, I was nervous because I think as a metal, especially in nanoparticle size, once it gets in the cell, I'm not sure that the human body has a mechanism to chelate that. And actually, when I was giving him warnings about this, I did look up some of the basic chelators that we use, or chelators, you could say, that can detox the body of various metals. Again, sorry, my brain is really scattered right now. I'm still trying to process this. And yeah, my girlfriend bitching at me when I get home about what picture I posted on Instagram. Absolutely absurd, because she knows that this happened too. So I looked up how you could get gold out of the body. It's not as easy as chelating the heavy metals that we usually detox the body with. And I've done a lot of detoxes before, and I've chelated metals out of my own body, and it's not that big of a deal. But with gold, nanoparticle size, it's harder to get it out of the body. I figured in what Connor was thinking was one of the reasons why gold would have such tremendous value to humans is its biohacking abilities, not just its value as a precious metal. And he may have mentioned it in some of his videos. And I'm curious to go back and check now, putting it all in context, because I didn't realize while this was happening exactly what it was until this happened. And then I finally put all the pieces together of how this could happen. But he had just injected a very large amount of gold. He was titrating up his gold dosage for a while now. And he was becoming, some people would say he was becoming more abnormal than even his normal self. But anytime that we would confront Connor about it.
Yeah, this is a chicken or the egg thing. I'm pretty sure the gold didn't make him go crazy. He was probably going crazy, which made him inject gold. That is probably what happened. You kind of have to be nuts to have this idea and inject gold.
He would say that he's actually developing superhuman abilities, and then he would do something to prove it. And he was actually developing superhuman abilities. And first of all, wow, let me make this really clear. I am not advocating. If anything, I'm warning people, do not put gold into your body without, I don't know even know. This is the problem, is we were telling him that we think this is pretty dangerous, but at the same time, he's proving that it's working up until a certain point. I guess it's just like with anything with chemistry, like a small dosage of something can be a very powerful tool, and a very high dosage can be very dangerous. But what I noticed with Connor was sometimes he would be, it's hard to know when he's acting or when he's not acting. That's another thing, is because when we would tell Connor, oh, he's acting crazy, he'd be like, yeah, I know, I'm acting. I'm an actor. It's acting. And he would, make us feel stupid. We're naysayers. We're negative. We're going to try to bring him down or something. And that's not it. We want to support him. And he has huge potential. I mean, I know it seems like Connor had quite a roller coaster during his life, but I think that he was on the brink of discovering some very big things that the mainstream can't understand. And that was fine with him not being fully understood by the mainstream. He would rather cast a wide net and get the attention of a huge amount of people, and then a few people understand the deeper
Connor Murphy wasn't vegan. He was vegan for like 2 months and then gave it up.
meaning of what he's doing, and then even fewer.
I wouldn't even say he was vegan for that length of time. He was just being retarded.
Follow the entire storyline and learn something so valuable from his philosophy perspective that it would completely change their life and help them escape out of the matrix consciously, become conscious. I really don't like when the mainstream tries to discredit someone who has very good intent and has a very valuable message based on one mistake or one failed experiment. So my mission.
This guy was a fucking jackass. So, this dude was uploading videos about how eating another man's semen, heals the body. He had some stupid video about hair loss where he claimed, he reversed his hair loss by some bacterial thing. He was promoting SARMs and Tony Hughes' dumb fucking SARMs and supplements and shit. It just fucking straight up garbage. He's also advising dudes to taking clomiphene, which is just fucking dumb. I don't know if you could say Connor Murphy had a good message at all, ever. The guy went from making clips, I don't know, surprising women that he had abs, to just stupid shit.
Was rewatching some of the debate you had with Connor Murphy. Bro said God has no characteristics, then proceeds to list off God's characteristics. Rest in peace, but this nigga been crazy for a while.
Yeah, he was crazy indeed. Just stupid. I think he was also dumb. Not just crazy, but just also dumb. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
Is to help people understand what message Connor wanted to deliver and how valuable it was. And I think all of his friends and everybody close to him, everybody who understood his message, I hope will advocate for that, and carry that torch. But I just really worry, and I just really caution people against discrediting something that Connor says that's very valuable just because he ended up in a situation that we don't want to be in. So Connor passed away in Bangkok. I'm in Pattaya. I'm 2 hours south. I didn't drive up there. I last saw Connor Maybe it was like 10, 11 days ago, something like this, because we did content together. You know, he would come down and we would do content together, like vlogging and collaborating and educational videos. And the last time he was here, I think it was the last time he was here, or maybe it was the time before, we did that video where he was, and I'm really glad I shot that video with him. Wow. Where he gave his perspective on like the meaning of life and, you know, his goal with his consciousness and his theories, and some could say conspiracy theories. But he was onto something. He was onto many things. He was tapped into a level of consciousness that most people never will be. And I think the only mistake was probably the gold. And I think that when he used a small amount of gold, I think he did develop some powers. And then when the gold dosage went up, I think something started misfiring in his brain. He was doing running sprint tests and timing himself, and
I'm pretty sure he was just nuts, and he was injecting gold because he was crazy. I don't think the gold made him crazy. Like, again, you kind of have to be nuts to do that to begin with.
To prove his abilities. And he had just started this, right? So I'm not saying that he was running faster than a world record holder or anything like that. But he was just starting to test his abilities with climbing and jumping and lifting and sprinting. And yeah, he was just, basically any time I was spending with him, it was like something that he would show, some additional ability that he gained from it. So I think there's something to it. I think scientists.
Yeah, usually athletes take steroids if they want to run faster or jump higher. I think that works better than gold. So I don't think the gold was doing anything for him there. And by the way, Connor Murphy was taking, like, you know, substances that are banned by WADA, you know, performance-enhancing drugs. He very publicly was taking clomiphene, which boosts testosterone. He was taking MK677, which is a growth hormone secretagogue. So was it the gold that was making him sprint faster and jump higher, or was it the performance-enhancing drugs he was on, and maybe the fact that he might have been doing more training to sprint faster and jump higher? Again, I have not seen any athletes use gold as a performance-enhancing drug, but I have seen athletes use performance-enhancing drugs to enhance their performance. So this seems like a silly idea.
It would be nice if scientists explored it, but I don't think they will, because who's going to profit off of gold? People, you can buy gold anywhere. He was buying it at the local gold shops. So, yeah, anybody could do it. And the home setup that he had wasn't expensive. It required multiple components and all this, and but it's something anybody could assemble. And I don't know if he was ever going to disclose to the extent that he was doing it. And I asked him why right after that video that we did about his interpretation of God and the human experience. And I'm still trying to remember exactly why he didn't want to talk about it. But it came up. It came up, and you can hear him hinting at it in some of his content. And when he's showing his skin, one of the things he's trying to show is that he's achieving this golden glow on his skin. His goal was to take enough to where the skin would change color and be visibly noticeable, that he was like translucent, sparkly with gold or something like that.
I think he saw the Twilight film and thought the gay, sparkly vampire was cool.
What up, VG? I wanted to drop in and ask you your thoughts on current events regarding Israel and what you think of them now, cause I'm definitely regarding them in a different light. Shit is getting fucked up out there, son.
Israel good, Hamas bad, Hezbollah bad, Iran bad. Thanks for the donation, Landry.
That. But I mean, the looks was just a side effect. He was going for the powers that he could give him. I never.
You know, you could just put like a cream on your skin that's like glittery. They have like sunscreens that are reflective that have like a gold sheen to them. You could just do that rather than injecting gold. That'd probably be safer. I guess you'd have cream on your skin. That'd be a little annoying, but that would still probably be safer.
Never actually saw the. Oh, well, I did see the gold setup actually. Yeah, I did when I visited his house a while back. I did see the gold setup, and the time before that also. Actually, he had a previous incident that also had. I didn't realize it was the gold at the time until now, because this happened right after he administered a large amount of it. And the previous time, back when he lived in Pattaya, he lived far south Pattaya.
Why do you think the best athletes get a gold medal, VG? They've been hiding the truth from us in plain sight.
But I mean, that's after they win. So I don't think that's what's going on. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
45 minutes south of me. And because Connor and I used to live together. Maybe we lived together, I don't know, maybe we lived together for like a year and a half. It's a long time. And then he moved to a separate house. And then, so I never saw him actually use the gold in person with me, because that was before. And then he discovered it, and he was starting to do smaller amounts of gold. And then the Pattaya House incident happened, which everybody knows about that one, with the golf club and all that. And I thought it was something else that, caused that. But then I think the same personality, or the whatever it is, like this other version of Connor that came out when he injected the gold before, and then he was a little bit different afterwards. But then he returned to, I guess maybe now I'm thinking maybe he never returned completely back to normal, but he was I felt like he was fairly normal till recently, when he did a small amount of gold and then a little bit.
They do that to mock us because they thought we'd never figure it out.
Okay. You might be onto something. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
More, and then a lot, and then all of a sudden it's like he put like a whole necklace into his body. A lot of gold. And then
that can't possibly be good for you. Couldn't possibly. There's also there's also a purity thing. Like, what purity of gold was he like injecting into himself? This is really stupid. How the where does that go? Like, how does it disperse? That is really weird. How, how is he even does he inject it into the vein? Is it intramuscular, subcutaneous? I kind of think you'd just end up with like gold lumps, in places. What the fuck?
And normally, if you take something, your brain changes for like hours or a day or something like this. But he was a little bit different the last couple times. But then I would call him out on it, and then he would say, "Dude, I'm just acting. Calm down. It's an act. See, I'm normal." And actually, when I thought he was being crazy on one of the last nights that I spent with him, maybe 10 days ago, I'm like, "Connor, you're acting weird, so I'm not, don't ride on my motorbike. You can get a
No, he was injecting it, apparently. He wasn't eating it.
Taxi motorbike. It's not a big deal. They're practically free." And He's like, no, I want to ride with you. No, Connor, just get on your own motorbike. I already have a girl on my motorbike. You're the third person. You're sitting on the back, and you're acting funny. So, but then I put him on the back. But then he said, no, I promise, I swear. The first sign that if I.
Oh my God, Gum. Come cuddle. Come cuddle. Cuddle. Come cuddle, Gum. Oh, what a beautiful kitty. No, that's my bowl. Don't eat from there. Yeah, come cuddle. Yeah, cuddle. Oh, that is... Oh, that feels so good. Oh, I love cuddling with kitties. Oh my God, that just fixes everything. Oh, I swear cats have like healing powers. Oh, I feel so much better already. Oh, it's like a drug. Oh my God, that is amazing. Oh my God, I love cuddling with kitties. He is such a big, soft kitty, too. Oh my God, I love cuddling with big kitties. Oh, this is just fucking incredible. This is exactly what I needed. Oh, that is a good cat. Oh my God, I love you, Gum. He is so good. Just look at how good he is. Oh my God. Oh, this is a good kitty. Oh, he is so good. Don't inject gold. Just have cats sit on you. That's what'll give you superpowers.
If I do anything, he's like, I was just acting. It's all an act. Bro, it's an act. I'm an actor. That's what I do. It's my job. So I said, all right, I'll let you ride on the motorbike. But at the first sign, he agreed that, okay, then I'll get off and get a taxi motorbike. So he rode on the back of the motorbike, and he was perfect, flawless. And he got off the motorbike. He said, see, I told you, I'm in full control. I am just acting. This is what I'm doing. So I didn't know what to. As a friend, I give advice. Heck, to every friend that's passed away, I literally give the advice that would keep them alive. But in the end, I remember because one time I gave a friend advice, and I told him something's wrong in his brain, and he's like, fix this because it's going to negatively impact his life and this and that. And the guy went absolutely nuts on me, and I'm not going to say his name, but he was a longtime friend. And he went nuts on me, and the guy turned me into enemy number one because I attacked his ego or something like that. So I'm super sensitive about this. I am pretty open with friends to give them advice. I was open with
Hi
Connor.
Richard, what do you think of Trevor Grumab and Garrett Osmab cycling?
Are those the follistatin and myostatin inhibitor drugs? They're fucking garbage from what I can tell. There have been several deaths that have occurred in the human trials, and like a huge amount of people, it's like about half of the people in these trials actually pulled out because they couldn't tolerate the side effects. I'm assuming it's mostly related to blood pressure. That's what I think it is. And there's not much reason you'd think they would do anything for muscle growth. Like the reason follistatin and myostatin increase muscle mass in like, you know, animals that have that weird myostatin inhibitor gene, it's because during gestation, when like they're a bean, basically, like they're a fetus, the lack of follistatin and myostatin just allows them to increase the amount of muscle cells they have while they're being formed. So when you inhibit follistatin and myostatin in an adult, like there's not really much reason to think that would really do anything. Also, there's huge issues with, like, I don't know how they're actually measuring how it impacts muscle mass, because there's a big difference between lean mass and muscle mass. Lean mass is anything that isn't fat. So if you're getting a ridiculous amount of water retention from a drug, that will show up as lean mass if you're doing something like a DEXA scan. So I don't know what they're really doing to assess muscle mass increases. Like in rats, they can do, like they can just completely dissect them, do muscle tissue biopsies, whatever. In humans, you can't do that. And even the rodent research is pretty garbage. Basically, they just starve these rats so that they lose a ton of muscle. Then they let them eat a normal amount of food and give them the drug, and then they just return back to normal body weight. So I wish Gummy was still cuddling with me. Damn it. So yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. Thanks for the donation, though, Giannis.
Like, here's Connor, here's what I think you're pushing the limit on this. I think you need to be safer with that. I don't think you should do that. But then I don't harass them about it. I don't, because I don't want the same thing to happen before, that when I push too hard. But I mean, where do you push? I mean, when you have a friend that let's say they have an alcohol problem or something, and you know they have an alcohol problem, but they're like, no, man, I have it under control. And then you push, you're like, no, I think you have a problem. And then they start getting really mad at you. And then they're like, not even going to be your friend anymore because it seems like, instead of giving advice, you're hating on them, or you're trying to like put them down or something like this. So I sit here wondering if I should have been more aggressive in my advice, and as are our other friends also, I'm sure, at home, regretting not being more aggressive with their advice. But man, it's Connor Murphy. He was the #1 fitness influencer in the world, and he has star power, and he's super smart. And when you tell him he can't do something,
this guy made himself retarded with ayahuasca, injected gold into his body, and killed himself for no reason via drowning. He's not smart. You can be crazy and do some things that are a little silly, but like that's just dumb.
Did you watch Greg's video yet?
No, we're going to watch that one next. Thanks for the donation, Pooh.
he proves you wrong, and he does it. And so I don't want to be the dream crusher. I don't want to be the one to put him down. I don't want to be the one to tell him no. I don't want to, that's not my role. I'm there for him when he needs me, but I don't want to impose my advice. Otherwise, then he won't ever listen to me. Then he'll just be like, oh, Tony doesn't support what I want to do. He doesn't believe in me. He's trying to crush my dreams, these type of things. And I'm older. Connor's 33 or something. I don't remember. I'm 43, whatever. I'm the next generation older. And so it's like a little bit of an elder responsibility to tell him to be more cautious and slow down, but not so much to kill his dreams. And I did see a lot of benefits from the gold. So at what point am I supposed to say that I think it's a problem? And I wasn't even sure if that's what was it, because it's hard to tell with Connor whether he acts so crazy, but then he's so smart. And sometimes when he's acting his absolute craziest, then you tell him he's acting crazy and boom, he's sober and sharp and smart and well-spoken. And so it appears that he's always in control. I thought he was in control. I think maybe he thought he could hold his breath longer than he could have. swim farther or faster than he could have. But even if I was there and he was swimming, I don't know if I would have stopped him, because I know he would be trying to prove his superhuman abilities. And if I blocked him from that, and again, he was obtaining some superhuman abilities. So I'm 2 hours away. I don't really have, there's nothing I can do to get there in time once I got the information about this. I had just talked to him yesterday or the day before that. I was talking to him a lot. He was really excited about these projects that we had just finished working on. He was celebrating part of his legacy. There was a lot to look forward to. He certainly wasn't depressed. He certainly had a lot of reasons to live. Again, his 2 life missions were to help other people elevate their consciousness, which actually was...
No, I'm not debating Face IQ. That guy helped spread, like, he helped to dox me, for one thing. He's also one of the, like, most dumb... He literally is the dumbest person I've ever fucking encountered. The only reason he... I can guarantee you this. The only reason he changed his stance on carbs is because he was talking to a chatbot. He has no critical thinking skills. He cannot think for himself. He relies entirely on speaking to chatbots to formulate any fucking argument. That's why when you debate him, he'll have these long pauses, and he'll like sometimes say, oh wait, I'm just waiting for ChatGPT to say something. And he'll give you responses that have absolutely nothing to do with what you just said, because he's just talking to a chatbot.
His mission from the beginning is just that he was leveling up what he was teaching based on what he was experiencing. So when he first started influencing, he was taking his shirt off and flexing his muscles for girls as a way to get over his performance anxiety. And he was bullied a lot as a kid. And so getting attention and respect and fame was like the inverse of that. That was his rebound. And that's what he wanted to teach other people to do. And one of the first products that he ever offered and movements he had was to teach other people how to get over their fear, their anxiety, their fear, and their disgust and fear reflexes. And I didn't read the whole program, but he's explained it to me so many times, and he's helped me overcome some of my disgust responses, let's say, as well, and a lot of other people as well. And people he interacts with in person, he helps them a lot to elevate their consciousness and get over these mental limiting factors, mental blocks that they have. And then that just progressed, because then as his consciousness raised, he wanted to bring the audience up to his level of consciousness. And I assure you, he was operating at a level of consciousness that's much higher than most humans will ever achieve in their lifetime. But level of consciousness and superhuman abilities doesn't equal long-term survival necessarily. 2 different things. It can help you survive, but it can also make it harder to survive. Especially, when you raise level of consciousness, you can disconnect more from the material world and become more connected to the metaphysical world, and you need to keep your finger on the pulse in the material world, or you can kind of get lost up there. So his other main goal was to make his dad proud with golf, and I think he would have done that also. I think he was on track for that. He was planning on showing his golf abilities in professional tournaments in the near future. He had a golfing Instagram and put some golf content out. It was kind of crazy looking golf stuff, but he wanted to totally change the game of golf. And I think he would have. And he developed a new golf swing and style that was actually really effective. And I just can't believe the timing. We just finished a big project, and there's so much to look forward to. I hope that, I know there's going to be a lot of reactions about crazy this and crazy that, but I hope that people find the deeper message in what he was trying to teach, because even I'm older than him, but I learned things from him also. And seems like a lot of the best friends I've had, the most interesting characters I've had, left this world really early. But I can feel I can feel good about Connor's outlook on the human experience and the afterlife. And as we did that video about his belief system about life and death, you'll see that he definitely had no fear of death. You know, he welcomed death, but not that he would want to leave early because he still had a lot he wanted to accomplish. But I can imagine that at the time of his passing, it was probably very blissful. And he was probably welcoming it at the moment.
I don't think so.
VG, will you audition for the role of Connor Murphy when they make a movie about his life?
Nah, I'm kind of like Black, so I don't think I'd really be the right person for that role. Thanks for the donation, though, nigga. Yeah, I don't think he died in a blissful state. He seemed to be pretty agitated. He didn't sleep for, like, a day. He was also, like, screaming and yelling, and he also, like, swam too much and was exhausted, and dying from suffocation is not pleasant, so he died pretty miserably.
Because of his belief system, and because I believe he was very well connected and to the metaphysical world. So he's still there, his energy is still there, and his impact on the material world is everlasting, especially after this project. You know, this project that he was working on, I think that's going to be a big part of his legacy. Well, you know, he's got a lot of videos out there. So when we miss him, we can watch his videos and we can remember.
Yeah, like the semen eating.
About him. I hope everybody's grateful for his contribution because he did contribute a lot. In fact, some of the consensus that I consulted in whether or not I should make a video or not is these young Bangkok aesthetic influencers who Connor and I first met up with maybe 3 weeks ago in Bangkok. And these guys are 20, 22, 23, and 24, and 21, something like that. 4 guys. And these are the next aesthetic bodybuilding generation. These are kind of like the guys in the old days, the Matt Ogus and Jeff Said and Connor Murphy and Ziz, and this whole group of guys that inspired an entire generation to get into health and fitness and fashion and looks and just like self-improvement instead of the negative side of things like, you know, bad music and dressing bad and not taking care of yourself and unhealthy substances. Like these guys inspired a generation to be healthy and productive. Connor Murphy was one of the main guys. And those videos were, you know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, maybe Connor Murphy's peak when he was one of the top, if for a moment at least, the top influencer in the world, influencing people to improve their physique, get abs, be healthy, work out. And these young Bangkok guys, Connor was their idol. He was their inspiration. And to be able to connect them together and watch them meet their idol and their inspiration is really powerful. And it inspired them even more to want to inspire others. And they're here, actually, this weekend, as it's happening. And Connor had come down last weekend, and we collaborated with him. And then the week before that, we collaborated with him in Bangkok.
No, I did not get gyno after starting test. And if you notice that your nipples are inflamed and puffing, like it may never form gyno. You can just have some like inflammation of the gland. It's just depends. Like Usually the telltale sign that you're actually growing breast tissue is you feel sharp pain in your nipples. So if you're feeling sharp pain, then you are guaranteed actually growing breast tissue. But yeah, if you're just getting some itchiness and sensitivity, you're not necessarily developing gyno. And even if the gland is kind of inflamed and your nipples are puffing out a bit, again, it doesn't mean you're actually growing gyno. It can mean that, but like the guaranteed telltale sign is actual pain in the nipple.
Cock. So they got to know him. They got to spend time with him, got to film videos with him. And yeah, it was like a revival of, that was before my time. Connor Murphy was influencing before me. I came onto the scene 10 years ago or something like that. And Connor Murphy was already at his peak at that time.
Using Primo to control estrogen to prevent gyno is like the most fucking retarded horseshit. One, you practically can't get Primo right now, and two, it's so ridiculously fucking expensive, and you have to take such a high dose to lower E2. It's just fucking retarded. If you're gonna use any anabolic to just prevent estrogenic side effects like gyno, then you'd probably either want to use EQ or Primo, or EQ or Masteron. Again, there's still a supply issue with Masteron. I actually managed to get some more, but Masteron's a little expensive. It's not that expensive, but it is a little more expensive than Test. It's about 50-ish% more. And yeah, EQ, in most people, it's a pretty potent anti-estrogen. You really don't have to take much. I know some people don't respond well to EQ, like Boldenone. I'm hearing more people getting kidney issues from it. I'm not I think it's just from the dose and them crushing their estrogen to practically zero. Because there's nothing about it that would suggest that it's directly nephrotoxic. Also, elevated hematocrit, that also wouldn't explain kidney damage. Living at high altitude also massively increases your hematocrit, and living at high altitude doesn't damage your kidneys. So I think it's just a effect of super, super low estrogen from running really high doses of EQ. A lot of people are running 300, 400, 500, 600 milligrams of EQ, which is just fucking nuts. And crushing your estrogen to really low numbers, that will damage your kidneys. Even using excessive amounts of aromatase inhibitors, that will damage your kidneys.
And so these young influencers now got another level of inspiration from interacting with Connor in person. And we were going to start doing regular videos and vlogs and everything with this younger generation. I thought it was a really beautiful thing, two different generations of these aesthetic influencers inspiring people to work out and be healthy and respect their bodies, carry the message. And actually I was recording, when all this happened, I was actually recording a video with them about their diet and what they're eating and what their motivation is and all that kind of stuff. But the main motivation for these guys and a lot...
Forgive the occasional spurging out of the audio, it goes back to normal fast. Let's give this a listen.
Welcome back. We have a guest today. Damon, known online as Face Metrics, runs a facial aesthetics consulting business, Bush Arranged.
This is 16 minutes.
This appearance. Damon, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm really passionate about helping guys.
Yeah, I'm not listening to that. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Even these generations now is Connor Murphy's old content. So the point is, Connor Murphy's legacy is there forever, and he impacted millions of people to get in shape and be healthy. And I've traveled around the world with Conor, and in all these different countries that we went to, people that barely even speak English come up to Conor and like, they're so grateful for him inspiring them. And even like people pull up their shirt and show their abs and like, I got abs because you motivated me to get in shape. So I think he was one of the most inspirational influencers of all time to inspire people to get in shape. And then later, yeah, all this crazy stuff happens because Conor elevated his level of consciousness and he wanted to bring people to that level. Most people aren't ready for that level. Plus he was making people read between the lines a lot.
He was fucking crazy. Like, I debated him. His spiritual beliefs were just fucking retarded.
So it just kind of seemed crazy. But the intent was always elevation of consciousness, which is always a good thing. Because with elevated consciousness, there's less conflict, more love, more cooperation in the human experience, better human experience. Everything just gets better as people's consciousness elevates. And his way of fighting the system and helping people out. All of us in our group have different ways that we want to help people escape from the matrix. And Conor's is elevation of consciousness, question everything, question your reality. Don't succumb to lower vibration impulses.
Question everything. Should I do drugs? Should I inject gold into myself? Should I run from the police? Should I jump in a lake and swim too far? Should I drown to death? Yeah, I should have questioned things a bit more.
Like disgust or hate or fear. And so, irreplaceable. Legacy lives forever. I'm grateful for him. He lives on the internet and in our heads and in our hearts. Rest in peace, Conor Murphy. And I will update more. I'll give more updates after the rest of the announcements are made about everything, because I'm sure there's things that you're gonna want me to respond to. So you can, yeah, follow along and I'll update you as things develop. I still hope this is a prank. Conor, I hope you're pranking us.
It's definitely not a prank.
Greg, in today's video, rest in peace, Conor Murphy. Yet again, another OG fitness influencer has fallen. Some kind of a scam that it wasn't actually true, but unfortunately, he has in fact passed away. And he did so by drowning in a lake.
So Conor passed away in Bangkok. I'm in Pattaya, I'm 2 hours south. I didn't drive up there. I last saw Conor.
I don't know anything about 5-AR inhibitors.
Maybe it was like 10.
You benched 225 for the first time today? Dope, dude. Feels fucking sick putting on 2 plates aside.
11 days ago, something like this.
Tony Huge has made a very lengthy video about this. I've watched the video, and frankly, he talked more about how Conor Murphy was injecting gold into his body than anything else, that he was trying to be a superhuman.
And he had the hypothesis that gold, if you can get it into every cell in your body, would have some special power of like conductivity of the electro pulses that go through the body, and also connect you to the metaphysical world.
And so I certainly hope that there is not a trend going on where social media influencers are somehow faking their deaths. There's a line that I don't think that we should be crossing, and that in line, it involves pretending that you're no longer with us.
He had just...
How did this fucking idiot upload the video without balancing the audio?
Injected a very large amount of gold. He was titrating up his gold dosage for a while now, and he was becoming, some people would say he was becoming more abnormal than even his normal self.
He also mentioned how he's a great actor, and so throughout the video I was thinking, is this like Nocturnal Kent? Am I going to be duped yet again? Conor Murphy is notorious for staging certain events, and I was in fact friends with him in private. When I talk to him, I say, hey, great acting. That was
Dodo donated $2. We got more Iranian proxies instead of less since Trump took office. Chilling June 26th. Sudan's no longer just passive ally under General al-Balad, transformed into an active operational hub for Iran's regional network. By weaponizing Islamic ties, transferring drone technology. Well, that's great. That's great. Mamdani's wife co-hosting pricey pro-Palestine retreat in Corsica after skipping July 4th celebrations. Yeah, you'd figure she'd do that. Can we deport these pieces of shit? Like, we should do what India did and basically make Muslims non-citizens so we can just deport them when they act up.
Can an atheist win the presidency? Is open atheism still a disqualifying position in American politics, and why have no prominent politicians been willing to own the label?
I haven't seen it polled in some years. Maybe there's a recent poll on this, but it was always the worst possible identifier to have as a politician. I mean, even in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, more Americans would have put a Muslim in the White House than an atheist. I mean, atheism was the only variable around which a candidate couldn't even get a majority of his own party to vote for him. I mean, the question was asked, would you vote for a qualified candidate of your own political party for the presidency if he or she was, and then the list was everything you might imagine. Only an atheist couldn't get above 50% of his own party members to vote for him. So stipulating that he was qualified. So it's if something, I mean, things may have changed. I mean, there's certainly been a rise of the so-called nuns, the people who don't identify with any religion in our society. I mean, it's changed a lot in the last quarter century.
But it's clear that word has such a stigma attached to it. They probably just need a new word.
I mean, I wouldn't advocate that anyone who's an atheist lie about it to win political office, but and I would be happy for more and more atheists to run. But yeah, I don't think you should do the work of your enemies for them by harping on your identity around atheism. I mean, I just think it's a word we don't need. You can say you don't believe in God if asked. You can talk about science and common sense, and but to be identified as an atheist, I've always argued that as a political identity is a stupid one, and atheists have not liked that.
You don't think voters get to the same place if somebody says I don't believe in God and they run? I mean, they don't.
Well,
have to run
they
on a platform
will, but
being atheist.
I mean, atheism isn't really a thing, right? It's not a philosophy. It's just a vacancy, right? It's just like not being, ask me if I'm Mormon, no. Ask me if I'm Christian, no. Ask me if I'm Muslim, no. And it's just no, no, no. It's just one more no, right? There's just no question of that sort to which the person's going to say yes, right? But it doesn't contain any other content. I think the thing, from a political point of view, the thing to really harp on is secularism.
It's very easy to fall asleep to this guy's videos.
Yeah, I get that it's 16 minutes, but you didn't even give the concept a slight chance. Come on, give it some minutes, you may find it's entertaining. It's not what you think it is from the first moments, you'll see.
No, I'm not listening to that. I have a funny feeling it's just gonna say the N-word over and over again, or some gay sex is gonna, like, play or some shit. I'm not listening to that. You're not even telling me what it is, and it just makes me more suspicious that it's just some bait to, like, get me banned or something. Thanks for the donation, dude. What is this? Yeah, I played Halo Infinite. It's fucking garbage. Well, soon we will have worker robots. That's good.
Which is not the same thing as atheism. Secularism is whatever your beliefs, you've agreed that because of the diversity of religious and spiritual and superstitious commitment out there, we can't have any of that. We can't resort to any of that when deciding what to do in the public square, but politically. What should the government do? What should we tax people for? What should we prohibit, right? And yeah, so you're not telling your Muslim neighbors or your Hindu neighbors or your Christian neighbors that they can't believe any public space.
Okay. Well, thanks for the nation, Dodo.
Really funny. You're very impressive. I don't know how you can speak as eloquently as you do. And so I really did enjoy his videos, his character. Some of the things I obviously didn't agree with, but he reasoned things out and made me feel like he was very intelligent.
I think the only mistake was probably the gold. And I think that when he used a small amount of gold, I think he did develop some powers. And then when the gold dosage went up, I think something started misfiring in his brain.
And so this, in fact, did make mainstream news. American man goes on rampage painting luxury home worth 22 million baht. In case you're wondering, the conversion rate, it's 4 cents is $100 Canadian, so about 3 cents USD. And so it's worth like $750,000. I was thinking, is
Axel donated $2. Hey man, how's... Yeah, great.
he actually that rich? 22 million baht is about $750,000. It's still a very nice home, in particular where he was living. And it says, then runs into a village lake and dies. Tony Hughes says that he was an avid golfer, that he was trying to develop the best golf swing in the world to drive the balls further than last time, and that he was experimenting with...
Dodo donated $2. Let me see. Turkey has joined a very exclusive group of nations possessing anti-ship ballistic missile technology, Turkish defense, blah, 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 missile reach, hypersonic. Okay. It's probably a good thing since they're a NATO ally. There's Georgia.
Thank you. I know. Oh, it's a big day.
Okay. President of the United States made $2.2 billion in 1 year sitting in the Oval Office. Most of it from industries he regulates. Experts now compare self-enrichment to Putin. Yeah, you think that's bad? You should see Mark Carney. Our fucking prime minister is doing much the same thing. And honestly, what Mark Carney's doing is worse because he's enriching himself at the expense of everyone else in the country, whereas Trump mostly seems to be just enriching himself. So... Graham Plattner has almost every possible type of allegation now: racism, sexual abuse, pedophilia, infidelity, fraud. Praised anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. I don't know who Graham Plattner is. Stat from new UBS Global Wealth Report. U.S. ranks number 2 when you look at average mean wealth per adult, but drops to 28 when you look at the median. So Switzerland's a pretty expensive country. I can kind of believe that. this makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, they're below Canada. No. South Korea, I could believe. Slovenia, Portugal, Austria, like they're just above Greece. Like, no. No fucking chance. I can understand Norway being ahead. Hong Kong kind of makes sense. Spain, like, again, just no fucking way. Ireland, are you fucking kidding me? I don't know how they're doing this calculation. This just seems nonsensical. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Microdosing gold, like literally gold, into his body.
You can hear him hinting at it in some of his content, and when he's showing his skin, one of the things he's trying to show is that he's achieving this golden glow on his skin. His goal was to take enough to where the skin would change color and be visibly noticeable that he was like...
Friend said it's worth living in Japan even if you get paid less since crime is so low and public services are good. So for one thing, unless you're working remotely, so like if you're a YouTuber, no. Living standards in Japan are pretty shitty. Like they're a pretty broke country. So if you get a job in Japan, you're getting paid peanuts and you like have no, like you're living in a fucking like box. So like a lot of their infrastructure and shit is just really old and antiquated. Like if you look at some of their buildings, like they're built really shitty. And not in the way that they'll topple over, like in weird ways where the walls are super thin and you hear absolutely everything your fucking neighbors are doing. A lot of their like corporate and bureaucratic systems are also super old, and it has to do with their aging population. So like the boomer generation is like basically everybody. There's no young people there. So everything is done like rather through email or some like app. You have to like use a fax machine. Just weird, bizarre shit like that where everything's super fucking inefficient and stupid. The amount you're expected to work for how little you get out of it is just so fucking skewed and crazy. So like if you have to actually work there, absolutely fucking not. Unless you're some like fucking super genius who's working like some really high paying specialized job. Like, no, you're making peanuts and working twice as hard. Like people literally fucking kill themselves because they have to work like so fucking hard just to have a below average, like middle class life. So like again, you could live in the United States, have a decent paying job and have like a good standard of living, not have to work that hard. Japan, just to have that standard of living, you have to work twice as hard. Everyone's also like a crazy uptight fucking asshole. Like people will fucking complain about you for just looking through fucking Instagram on your phone if you're on the train. Like public displays of affection are like considered really taboo. So like, you know how it's normal to hold hands and like kiss your girlfriend in public, you know, if you're in any other country? There, it's like the equivalent of like fucking like finger banging your girl in public. It's a really weird, uptight fucking culture. And the crime thing is misleading. So they have very little ethnic diversity, and that's why you don't see a lot of stupid sort of violent petty crimes that are very public. So you don't see any you don't see black people like fucking doing these raids on fucking like stores where like 20 people will rush into a store and steal shit. You won't see like African migrants fucking just stabbing people randomly. You don't see that shit, but they have a ton of fucking organized crime. I think it's gotten better, but at one point, like it was fucking like I saw a statistic where like literally the majority of businesses were owned by organized crime, and they do fucking get into shootouts and turf wars and kill each other. So like, there's also other shit that just gets swept under the rug. So like, if you look at rape statistics, Japan has a suspiciously low rate of rape. There's a reason for that. It's because they don't care. They literally do not give a fuck if like underage girls are getting fucking raped or taken advantage of and shit. Because, oh, well, if their parents cared about them, and if they were brought up properly, they wouldn't be hanging out with older men and getting into those problems. So their family can sort it out. That girl can smarten up and, get on with her life. Like that's their attitude towards it. So like these people never get fucking prosecuted. They're also massively cucked on guns. They're massively cucked on drugs. Like if you just want to smoke weed or something, like it's illegal there. You can get serious fucking time in prison for doing that shit. And, their prison system is like, it's fucking hellish. American prisons are bad enough. Japanese prisons are literally torture. I don't know how they haven't gone to like being sued in an international court. It's normal for prisoners to literally just be tortured by prison guards. Prison guards can just do whatever they want to you. If they don't like you, they'll literally beat your ass. They also don't allow you to talk during the day. They don't allow you to lie down. You're supposed to just sit up, don't talk, don't do anything, just stare at a wall. And if you try to go to sleep, if you try to rest your head or lie down, they'll go into the prison cell and just beat you. They also don't give you enough food. You're on a like literally malnourished in both a total caloric consumption sense and in a micronutrient sense. People develop nutritional deficiencies in there that are like potentially deadly. So like it's not a good country to really live in, if you're in certain circumstances at least. So like most people just don't actually like living there, because they don't make much money, they have to live in a shitty box, and they have to follow like these retarded arbitrary rules that are just super stuffy. And like Japanese people don't really jive well with like American and Western sensibilities, so you're kind of isolated. And whenever you do things that are outside the norm, like you're not treated that well. And they become a lot more like xenophobic and shit because of tourists. Like, so it's not great to live there. I wouldn't want to live there. Like visiting would be fine just to see, some things. Like go to Tokyo, go to Shibuya and stuff, but yeah, it's just a like super uptight culture with some really regressive sort of, like societal things. And if you have to actually work there, you're just going to be fucking broke and have nothing.
Translucent, sparkly with gold or something like that.
I was thinking this was all staged. It was a joke as I was watching Tony Huge, but now I'm thinking it's actually real. And so I was going to say, well, if you inject too much gold into your body, your density is going to go up and you're going to drown. But it doesn't fully hit when this wasn't staged. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't an act. And so perhaps he wasn't actually acting. Like, all these years, when I was thinking Conor Murphy was acting, remember he went on that 40-day fast where he hadn't eaten anything for 40 days. He lost about 40, 50 pounds. And we all remember that incident with his girlfriend with the golf club, and he'd gone a little bit over the rails and destroyed a lot of that property. I believe that he had an implement put into his stomach, and I don't want to get the video demonetized. And so a lot of things have happened.
He might have actually stabbed himself. It seems like his girlfriend, from what I heard, his girlfriend was defending herself against him with a golf club, but he may have actually stabbed himself.
We once thought he was going to end himself, that he had been on ayahuasca, and so we don't really know when Conor is faking things, doing things for drama, when things are staged or when it's real. Based on what I'm seeing, this is no joke. And so after painting the entire interior of a luxury rental home, causing extensive damage before running into the village lake where he drowned, his girlfriend stated she did not know the cause, while the homeowner was shocked and never expected to encounter such a scene. And so this has just happened 3 p.m. on July 7. Received a report of a foreign man acting erratically and jumping into the lake of a luxury village in Bang, Philly district. He, along with emergency doctors from that area hospital and volunteers from Po Tek Tong Foundation, rushed to the scene. The scene was a luxury house situation situated next to a large pond. And so he was living next to this pond, next to this golf course. And divers were searching for the missing person before finding the body of Conor Michael Murphy, age 32, an American, about 20 meters from the shore. They recovered the body for examination on land. No wounds or signs of assault were found. The police sent the body for further autopsy at the hospital. And so this was caught on film. They have video footage of this. A village staff member showed the foreign man suddenly exhibiting erratic behavior without knowing the cause. Oftentimes when you see this, you've got to be thinking, is he using recreational substances? Was he experimenting with various protocols? Or was this just an event onto its own? Sometimes people experience different results. They go into a certain state, psychosis, if you will, and you never know what's going on. We've seen, for example, the Liver King doing some erratic behavior. And so is it possible that he was experimenting on himself using recreational substances and it led to this? Security personnel at the village reported that the man went out and returned by a hired vehicle, which stopped at a security checkpoint. He offered the driver 1,000 baht, so like, I don't know, 20 bucks, 50 bucks, whatever. But the driver refused due to the man's abnormal behavior. If you're refusing the $40 or $50, then there probably is a reason for that. The man approached a resident's car passing by, knocked on the window to get a ride inside, while security shouted, "Don't pick him up." The man then became agitated, shouting loudly and rolling on the road, making gestures as if praying to God. Remember, Conor is a gifted actor, and so this could all have been an act. It could have all have been staged.
Yeah, there were pipes and needles and shit that they found. Who the fuck knows what he was taking?
But drowning in a lake, it is not the desired outcome. When police patrol arrived, he fled into the village and jumped into the lake to swim. And so perhaps he was trying to evade the police, to, escape. Hey, if I have people chasing me and I'm a good swimmer, I'm going to go and jump into the lake. What are they going to do? How are they going to catch me? Police called for backup and rescue teams as they could not control him. Eventually, he exhausted himself and drowned. And so the irony, if you're a fitness influencer and you're healthy, and you go to escape or evade the police, and you go into a lake, and you get too fatigued and you drown, this does not say too much about you. Now, if you are in fact intoxicated...
To be fair, he couldn't sleep. He went like 48 hours without sleeping, so that might have played a role. I'd imagine he's also negatively buoyant, so he probably had a harder time than a normal person treading water.
Perhaps with alcohol or recreational substances, it's very difficult to swim. Now, if you're thinking, well, why didn't they save him? Would you jump into the water, perhaps by yourself, to go and help somebody who's a little bit psychotic, is acting in erratic behavior? They could, in fact, push you down and drown yourself. It's very difficult to save someone, even if you're an excellent swimmer. Remember, I was on a swim team. I am able to swim very, very well, but to save a man, perhaps 200 pounds, who's panicking, they may not only drown themselves, but take you with them. When it's life or death and you are in front of you, they can pull you down like no other. And Connor was a very strong man. And so Connor Murphy's girlfriend, age 22, had been with him for about 3 years. But they were living separately because of incompatible lifestyles. Not everyone wants to live in the same casa as their partner. They don't like that. And so perhaps they had a great relationship, but from afar. She has no clue as to why the erratic behavior came about suddenly. And she says she never saw him use drugs during their time together. Now, listen, you don't have to see somebody to do something to know that they're actually doing it. I had once dated a girl who says she dated somebody who was addicted to smoking the marijuana. She didn't know it. It took 3 months. I'm thinking, how did you date that person and never know he was doing it? Wouldn't you smell it? I mean, I would assume that you were. But people can do things in secret away from you. I know people are using the cocaine, they're doing math, addies, and so on, and they're not telling their significant other. They get away with it in secret. And so just because you've never seen with your eyes them taking those medications or those substances doesn't mean that they are not. The vandalism with Pate happened during the previous night while she was asleep, and he refused to sleep. Did he refuse to sleep, or could he not sleep? Was he in a state of mania? What exactly was going on?
This last video is literally titled Rip Elon Muscular 6 days ago.
Well, here is me attempting one more time, I guess. No, it is not to get your stream banned, not meant max out blocked words, or anything like that. In context it can be funny. Third Dono now, please just give it a chance.
Oh my fucking god. Okay, give me a minute.
I'm absorbing the spirit of Elon. Thank you, Elon, for your sacrifice. Elon, I will become the most famous guitar player in the world. Just for you. You motherfuckers have it. You motherfuckers have an unhealthy relationship with death.
That is so fucking weird. Really weird.
The name's Mandibulus zygomitis. Maximilian Mandibulus zygomitis. I'm 7'6" with my horns and to bone smash. This creates a pain-induced negative relationship with food. As you can see by my transformation, I'm secure with my insecure. Canthal tilt strong opportunity to.
Yeah, he was just nuts. Yeah. This was bound to happen.
Welcome back. We have a guest today.
Visor intrusion, a lip lift, maybe a rhinoplasty. I told him I'd been running simulations in ProPlan.
And his response?
His response was, okay, got it, cool. So what do you need my help with?
You just described a complex revision case with 2 distinct surgical paths and specific.
He started explaining. I don't know about my case. He didn't.
Fuck off my call.
That's almost verbatim my.
His 99.
You're literally just trying to waste my time.
On? I do not know. Investigators from the police station searched the house and the deceased car, and they did find 2 unused syringes on the front driver's seat and unidentified white pills in the seat's waist bag. And so it's very likely that he was injecting or swallowing something. And so the rescue team will send the body for further examination to determine the exact cause of death, including drug testing. And so I'm certain we will find out more. We will find out exactly the root cause of the problem.
And the consensus was that I should.
I feel like Julius Maddox will never hit the 800 pounds raw bench press. It's been 6 years since his first attempt. He can't be 425 pounds body weight forever. He might not live over the age of 45 if he doesn't shut it down. What do you think?
Is he even trying at this point? Look, you don't get to 425 pounds unless you're just a fucking glutton. Eddie Hall seems to be a guy who naturally just likes to eat a lot. Like, he would just be fat on his own. But, like, you saw him bloat max like fucking crazy. Like, he really forced food down to get that 500 kilo deadlift. Same with Hafthor. That guy can naturally kind of put down a lot of food, but, like, when he's really going for it, you know, the world record deadlift, he really has to force himself to eat. That does not seem to be the case with Julius Maddox. He's just kind of a fat ass, and he's probably going to stay a fat ass unless he goes on like a GLP-1 agonist or something. I honestly, like, I'm really skeptical that his weight is even helping him at that point. Like, there are other dudes like Scott Mendelson, what is it? Kirill Sarchev. He was the former record holder. He had the record at like 735 or something. They weren't anywhere near 425. So he's just a glutton who eats too much and eats really shitty food. And yeah, he's not benching 800 pounds. What's he even been up to? 605 for 10.
That's what hit me. Like, you forgot who you are. Oh yeah, I knew it.
Just after that, the only thing I want to say is,
we are.
It seems like he probably also has diabetes.
Always get together, we make magic happen. You need to head on over to regular string. He is not.
He has like a bunch of bumps around his neck, and you see the dark discoloration. That's a sign of diabetes.
Built.
half the weight fat syndrome. I don't know if you.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
So I don't think this guy is like, this is a year ago too. He's not trying to bench 800 anymore. I think he likes lifting weights and being strong and shit, but he's not going for 800. And yeah, it's been 6 years since his last attempt, and it's just not happening. Thanks for the donation, though. I'll drop you on your head.
Should make a video right now before a bunch of rumor.
Joseph Trombello, 260, benching 735. Is that the guy who just bounces it? Like, is that in comp? Yeah, this isn't a real competition bench. It's not that he isn't strong, but it's not a competition bench. This is just, you know, gym lifts. So it's not the same thing. Like, he's ridiculously strong. But, like, yeah, point still stands. He does not have to be that weight to like lift the weights he's lifting. That's just him being a fat ass glutton. I think he'd probably be in a better position to lift more weight if he actually got less fat. Obviously, like being super lean wouldn't help him, but he does not have to be over 400 pounds. Like, that's just fucking ridiculous. What weight was Scott Mendelson when he benched 700? Or 715, I think it was. Like, I could believe, like, I could see him being around 300 here. So like, about 100 pounds less. So Scott Mendelson was 308 pounds when he benched 715 for the world record. So, and they're roughly the same height. So Julius Maddox is over 100 pounds more than Scott Mendelson. And that is 100 pounds of solid fat. He is not any more muscular than Scott. That's just 100 pounds of solid ass fat. That's not helping you bench, 800.
And people think it's a stunt or something like that because especially of who Connor Murphy and his character is.
And so remember, Tony Hughes is friends with this guy. He's also friends with various people who have passed away in his past. And so he's either got the worst luck in the world in choosing friends, or we just got to get the hell out of Thailand.
Connor is such a interesting guy and very unique and such a prankster that a lot of times with Connor, you don't know whether something's real or not. So even my brain is like, this is all a trick. This can't be real.
You have to wonder, was this in fact staged? And so Tony Hughes is out to say, this isn't staged. And so if we were to find out in a few days that this isn't real, most certainly people are going to say, Tony, bro, is this not a new low? We don't want people to pretend, because it's like when you cry wolf. Hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, you got me again, but fool me thrice or 3 times, and, well, that really sucks. Something like that. Thailand, where bodybuilders go to die. Ziz, Leo, Connor, Joe Aesthetics, the list goes on and on. Rest in peace. Didn't see this coming. Dude starts injecting gold, gains superhuman abilities, and subsequently drowned like, what the F, bro? Damn, I was hoping it was fake. And so that's the video. If I find out more, perhaps we can ask John Bravo to somehow get the footage. We can learn more about exactly what's going on. Drowning, it's not a pleasant way to go. Don't go swimming if you cannot swim. Stay in the shallow end. I don't really know what message to provide right now. Connor Murphy, I like the guy. It's sad to see him go. I'm honestly, at this point, I'm 50-50. You can tell based on the video, if I knew for sure, 100%, that he was no longer with us, I likely would have worn a suit. I would have had a certain video. I did, in fact, DM him, and I asked, are you still with us? Because people got mad when I made the Nocturnal Vent video, and they said, well, why didn't you ensure that this was true? And I'm like, well, how? Who do I know? I don't know anyone that knows Connor Murphy to check up. I don't know his parents. And so how do I ensure it? And so if I write him and he says, Greg, it's a stunt, I know not to make the video, but he hasn't written me back.
We already watched John Bravo's video. Did he upload another one? Yeah, we already watched the video. He didn't have any footage.
Even if your doctor makes you look like the evil.
Yeah. Well, Frank's retarded.
Villain from Men in Black. The reason you will never win a medical malpractice lawsuit is because you have to find an expert to testify in your favor. What that means is you need to get another doctor in the field to say that the doctor that performed surgery on you messed up, right? Which is literally impossible. They're all...
No, that's not impossible. It's impossible in your case because what happened to you was a possible side effect of the fucking surgery you explicitly asked for, even going against the recommendation for the doctor. From the doctor. Frank insisted to have that orbital decompression thing. He insisted upon it. Dr. DeBon said he doesn't recommend it. He warned him about the potential side effects, and Frank went ahead anyway, and sure enough, he got the side effect he was warned about. None of that indicates that Dr. DeBon did anything wrong. So, did you see Dr. Mike's new podcast episode with Mike Israetel? Well, I saw that he uploaded it. I had no interest in watching it because the topics seemed really stupid. I saw one clip where Mike said one of the dumbest fucking things imaginable. And, yeah, Mike Israetel's like a fucking moron with no critical thinking skills, and he's a complete fraud. So I didn't really have an interest in watching it.
colleagues. They all went to the same school. They all work together. It is actually impossible. I contacted, and even if you can get someone to testify for you, they're not going to testify for malpractice. They're not going to say that their fellow friend, and to get further, they're all in the club. You know, you will never win.
So, by the way, when he says in the club, he believes in an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that there's a cabal of evil Jews that conspire together to do evil things. That's what he's talking about when he says in the club. And it's really, like, it's especially stupid in this case because Dr. DeBon isn't Jewish. He's, like, probably Syrian or something with his last name.
Has been no
Yeah, he's either Syrian or Iranian or something. Like, he's Persian.
history of anyone ever winning a medical malpractice lawsuit pro se because of this reason. It will never happen.
Then why did you sue him? Like, I don't understand. Like, he says, I can't possibly win this lawsuit. It'll never happen. The Jews are all against me. Then why are you even bothering doing this? He's such a fucktard, dude. Frank is so dumb. So dumb. Shocking how somebody can actually be that stupid. You wouldn't think somebody could be that dumb, but Frank Tufano, like, just... he exceeds all expectations. It's your cat. Oh.
He would rather destroy this world than share it with his enemies. Then let this primitive realm die with you.
fuck? What was that? Okay, that's weird. The Doom the Dark Ages story has, like, sucked.
Politics is over. Reject the makers and their ways, now and forever. It is by blood we will survive. Now stand behind your courage. Stand behind him. Our war begins now.
Yeah, that's just terrible. Doom the Dark Ages was such a fucking disappointment, dude. Fucking horrible. Thought I was hearing something. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Thought something stupid happened. No, have not seen the new Avatar movie. I have not. I don't. Yeah, More Plates, More Dates doesn't make videos anymore. I don't think he made a video about Connor Murphy. No. I am tired as fuck. So, I think I'm gonna go to bed now. I don't have to train tomorrow, so, I'll probably, stream a bit earlier and shit. I might do an early gaming stream too. We'll see. But hope you all had fun. Don't do ayahuasca. There seems to be a particular problem with ayahuasca where you are at a much higher risk of psychosis than any other psychedelic drug from using it. So, yeah, don't do what Connor Murphy and the Liver King did.
By Avatar VG he means this Avatar, not the Blue Alien VG.
Yes, I know. I didn't see the new Avatar movie. I knew which one he was talking about. It wouldn't even matter because I haven't seen any of them. But yeah, I don't give a shit about Avatar The Last Airbender. It just seems kind of gay and lame. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. So, yeah, I'm gonna go to bed now, get some sleepy sleep. And I will stream tomorrow, and we might do early gaming stream. We'll see how the day goes when I get up. But I hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everyone who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. And